Central Empire Wrestling presents Bridge City Slam 6 live Saturday, September 7th at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. Come see Jake the Snake Roberts, Buff Bagwell, former WWE Tag Team Champions Demolition, Real One Enzo Amore, The Powers of Pain, The Boogeyman, Snitsky, Jordan Grace, Cameron Brunei, and the stars of CEW. Tickets start at just $20 and include the Fan Fest from 4 to 7 p.m. Get your tickets through Ticketmaster or at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. It's Bridge City Slam 6, live Saturday, September 7th at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa.
Your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan, for the fan. Of course, we are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. I am your host, Never Wrong Nick Bull. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been a busy, great weekend of wrestling and cannot wait to break it down for you. We got a doozy of a show here for you today. Before we meet our guests, I got to bring on my tag team partner here. He is the co-champ with me of the For Frequency's Sake Network. We don't know if he's officially licensed as a wizard, but we'll just go with it. He is the Wizard, CZ. Wiz, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired, but that's to be expected when you got a busy wrestle weekend anytime, you know?
A busy show.
How are you feeling, Nick?
I'm feeling great. It was a busy weekend full of wrestling. I want to say real quick, a big shout out and thanks to Stryker for getting us our newest tag. That was Mustafa Ali off the top of the show. He got that for us yesterday at the Dreamwave show up in LaSalle. We're very appreciative. Dreamwave was going on. SummerSlam was going on. And of course, there was a Central Empire Wrestling show going on that not only you went to, but both of our guests were a part of as well, CZ.
Very much so. Good time, a great. They were debuting in a new venue, the Penn Central Mall. Just looked amazing. I love the venue. I love the way it was set up, and it was absolutely perfect for a wrestling event. I'm so excited that I don't know who I want to bring into the studio first, Nick. So I'm going to let you pick.
I think we need to bring in Jared first because we'll give him a chance to talk first, because if you've been following along on social media this week, our other guest, JT Energy, has really been hyping this show, but he's been hyping it more as the roast of Jared Thumb. And I wanted to ask Jared what he thought about that before we brought in JT Energy.
Oh, I don't know exactly what to say for a roast on Jared Thumb. I mean, you guys see what happens at shows and how he is towards me, and now we're going to be live on the internet where everybody can see it. I've honestly been trying to think of some comebacks, and it's been a little rough. I'll be completely honest, trying to figure out what am I going to say back to Mr. Energy.
Are you prepared for that? Because I'm sure Mr. Energy is full of zingers and insults.
Oh, I mean, whenever.
I don't know if you remember, Jared, but it sticks in my mind as one of my favorite episodes. When we had you on back, I believe it was December or November of last year, JT was all over the comments. We were all laughing and having a riot, and I expect nothing less today. Unless something happens, and this is going to be the most somber episode of Card Subject to Change, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's bring him in. Our good friend, Mr. JT Energy, the feline phenom, host of our weekly segment, A Moment of Focus. Welcome back to the show, JT. How you doing?
I'm real good, and I'm ready for tonight. Obviously, Jared's real good. He's blinking a lot already. No words coming out of this man's mouth. Are you flexing? Are you already trying to show everybody?
No,
working out?
I gotta get some liquid courage just to hear what you're gonna say to me. Live
Yeah,
in front
that
of
you need
everybody.
some extra courage. I can tell you that.
Both of you involved with last night's Central Empire Wrestling show on Oskaloosa Mall Madness. CEW trying something different. I guess I'll let you guys both talk to this. I was not at the show. CZ did go to the show. I've heard nothing but great things about it. A new venue. Mr. Thumb, I guess we'll start with you. You had a pretty big night last night at the Mall Madness event.
Oh yeah, I opened the show against Big Bad Wallace, which it was nothing less but a fight. I've been saying all week, that match was 4 years in the making because I had my first ever matchup against Wallace when I came into Central Empire Wrestling. So it was a shot at redemption. After being cheated out of a win 4 years ago, I had a shot to put him back down to size where he belongs. And later on, I was in the Legends Rumble. I drew number 2. So I had to Iron Man the entire Rumble and go the distance. And we had, I think, 18 entrants. But Tommy Ace, the guy, came in about 3 times. He took 3 entrants and came in 3 times. So roughly 18 was the number, but Iron Man did all. Ended with Damian Saint, and I gave him a stunner, and he went over the top rope. It's hunting season for that title now, though. I got a shot at that Central Empire Wrestling title anytime, any place within the next year. Haven't picked my shot yet.
But I mean, it's got to feel great knowing that you've got a shot anywhere you want, anytime for the next year. I mean, you hold the cards essentially now.
Oh yeah.
JT, let's talk about your night at Mall Madness down for Central Empire Wrestling in Oskaloosa.
Yes,
and maybe reflect on Mr. Thumb's big night as well.
Oh, I'm surprised that Jared went so short on that. I would think that after all that fighting that he would really talk about how great of a performer he is. You're probably thinking about how much time you just wasted on that free promo that you had, Jared. You really could have hyped yourself up, and you really downplayed that as a potential number 1 contender for Rory Fox's CEW championship. You would think that that's the thing that you've been working so hard for, that you would really tell the fans how excited you are to potentially become CEW champion. And you're just ho-humming over here. Are you just tired from last night? Did you work too hard?
No. If you
oh, you didn't work too hard. Okay, there it is, right out of his mouth. Wow. Got it, guys. Wow. Let's go back to me. So after Jared was done with Brandon Wallace, also, Jared, did you take the gun off that safety last night? Because I saw Brandon Wallace had a big black eye that you must have given him. Let's talk more about that. How did he get that black eye?
Well, let's just say my back hurts a little extra today because I felt my body collapse on his face when he gave me the German suplex. So,
okay. So you're saying that Brandon Wallace injured himself, and you are not enough of a man to injure him. Got it. All right. Next question. Jared couldn't injure. He couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. But I'm glad that you're you're the number 1 contender, right? Great job. All right, cool. So Jared, he had his match. That was real fun. He started off the show with a barn burner against Brandon Wallace. Beats a guy in all pink. He's doing his thing. He's taking the safety off the gun, wearing the camo, high-fiving the kids, holding his baby in between, false finishes. He's doing a great job. His dad was in the crowd, being real proud of his son. I saw him there. At one point, he looked away. He was just disappointed in you, but that's a lot. It happens a lot. I've seen it many a times. But then my match started, and everybody was so excited. They're like, "Oh, JT Energy, the longest reigning CEW champion ever." Here we go. Finally, a guy who's entertaining. Not that Jared's not entertaining, but a guy that's more entertaining. I come out, and I get to face Damian Saint. Jared's probably most. Would you say your greatest match you've ever had was against Damian Saint at Bridge City Slam last year? Is that your greatest victory?
That's honestly probably the best match I've had to date, besides you and I when we went half an hour for your title when you were Central Empire Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. You got the win over me on that because I made a mistake, but that was 2021.
Hey, I'm going to test your memory right here. What mistake did you make?
I thought I could do a frog splash, and I went splat right on the mat.
All right. High flyer Jared Thumb, not in the cards. Unfortunately, he lost his chance at a CEW championship that night. But me versus Damian Saint, someone who Jared has beaten the holy heck out of before. And this was the first time meeting between former tag team champions, the Mystery of Darkness, the team that defeated Jared Thumb and Rory Fox for their tag team championships. That night, we relished as Thumb fell off the top rope through a table when he tried to give me an attitude adjustment. But his legs and his heart and his soul just gave out, and he let everyone down. And we were the victors. But it finally culminated in this moment of us going one-on-one. And wasn't ready for the Feline Phenom. The Feline Phenom was totally different than what he had previously experienced in the past. But in the end, I really should have known one thing, that you can't trust anyone who says they want to show up to a fight, because a cheater will always cheat. And at the end of the night, he pulled my tights way too far and way too uncomfortably up my backside, and I was stuck for the 1, 2, 3. So did I lose? Absolutely. Do I think it was justice and fair? No, not at all. Do I look forward to having another match with Damian Saint? Of course I do. When? No idea. But that's for fate to decide. Not on my hands. I washed my hands clean. Later that night in the Rumble, I did get my retribution a little bit. And I probably gave, I would say, upwards of 50 stomps to the chest to Damian Saint. I would get him down, and I stomped him over and over. And when you thought I was done, I stomped him 30 more times, to the point the man couldn't even breathe anymore. So I'd say I had a little bit of fun. Now, Mr. Thumb over here, at one point in the Rumble, like he mentioned earlier, he was exhausted from all this hard work that he was putting in. And I also, at one point, was on the mat, and I turned over, and I saw Jared looking right at me. So I went ahead, and I took my finger, and I shoved it directly in his ear, and he freaked out. I had a good chuckle, and he was very disturbed.
Is it fair to call it the wet willy of doom?
It was the wet something to doom that night. And Jared was, I don't know, if anything, you know what? That probably perked him up to the potential that he came to that night and gave him that victory. I'm taking credit for your victory. If I hadn't shoved my finger in your ear and woken you up from sleeping on the mat like you were, you're welcome.
I mean,
you're welcome.
If you were so focused on stomping Saint's lungs out, I was saying, hey, let's throw him over the ropes. It could have been you and I.
This is the other thing. Jared comes into the locker room last night and he goes, hey, I mentioned out there, me and you team up and we'll throw Damian Saint over the top rope. This never happened. Jared never opened his mouth. He said he absolutely was saying to the crowd, come on, let's work together. No, Jared was sleeping on the mat most of the time, getting knocked out by one opponent after another, getting so lucky back to back to back. 18 people somehow fell over the top rope that night. Jared, I don't know how you did it. You should be called the wizard here because you're pulling out the magic tricks, okay?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Shots fired. I love it. This feels like primetime wrestling and people are shooting on each other. This feels great. We just get the front row seat to it, CZ. I mean, this has been great.
Yeah, I mean, I could just sit back and let these two go at each other all night.
Sure.
Jared, did you put your camera at that angle so you look taller tonight?
Actually, I don't have any better spot. I'm kind of in my
What's behind
storage.
you? Is that your grandma's couch?
No, it's a bed.
Yeah, all right.
We don't need right now. We just can't get rid of it right now.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk about SummerSlam. Let's talk about.
How about we
SummerSlam.
talk about SummerSlam? I know it was probably, I don't know if everybody here was able to watch it last night. I'm guessing mostly this morning after your guys' long nights, but I don't know. I've done a lot of reading on this show since it ended. I watched all the post-conference stuff. WWE hits another home run. I think this pay-per-view was nothing short of spectacular, in my opinion. I watched it live, thoroughly enjoyed the whole show. I really can't pick apart too much. I can comment on some stuff and pick apart maybe a couple things, but I think for the most part, man, they hit a home run. What about you guys?